Welcome to our YouTube storytelling channel, a place where magical worlds and exciting adventures come to life.
As the sun set over the city, there was a girl who dreamed of a better world. She knew it wouldn't be easy. There were hardships along the way, but she was determined to never give up. She was an insurgent, fighting against the evil in the world. And with her courage, she knew she could make a difference. As she sneaked in through the back entrance under the cover of darkness, the insurgent girl's heart was racing. She knew that one wrong step could mean disaster. But she was determined to keep going to see this through. The fate of the world rested on her shoulders. The insurgent girl called for reinforcements, and together they made a plan. They attacked the fortress with precision, slowly gaining ground. But the enemy was strong and the battle was tough. Would they be able to overcome the obstacles and change the world for good? As the insurgent girl and her army retreated, they regrouped to come up with a new plan. They knew they couldn't give up. They studied their enemy's weaknesses and devised a new strategy. They would return stronger than ever, ready to fight for the future they believed in. The insurgent girl tapped her secret communication device and called for help from other groups around the world. They arrived just in time to help the insurgency gain ground. They were able to find weaknesses in the enemy's defenses and mount a successful stealth attack. The diversion in the other part of the city worked like a charm. Victory was within reach. Together, the insurgent girl and her people began to rebuild the world according to their vision. They established a new society based on justice, equality, and compassion. They worked tirelessly to ensure that everyone had access to the basic necessities of life. The future looked bright. Pushing ahead with her plans, the insurgent girl faced major setbacks. But she refused to give up. With sheer determination and hard work, she overcame every obstacle one by one. Her vision for a better world was finally taking shape, and nothing could stop her. Strengthening security proved effective, but maintaining it was a constant battle. Going underground allowed the insurgents to replenish and reform, but it came at a high price. Hunting down the evil leaders was dangerous but rewarding. Each option had its risks, and the insurgent girl weighed them carefully. The insurgent girl established a foundation to aid those affected by the former regime. It helped people to rebuild their lives and find new hope. Money was collected from the wealthy and given to the poor. The world was finally changing for the better, and the insurgent girl was proud to be a part of it. The insurgency was successful in dismantling the remaining remnants of the evil regime. It was a hard-fought battle, but justice prevailed. The insurgent girl and her army could finally breathe a sigh of relief. The world was a better place, thanks to their courage and unwavering determination. The educational programs were a success. The people were now aware of their rights and responsibilities. There was a new sense of purpose and pride in the community. The insurgent girl's vision was finally becoming a reality. Despite being outmatched, the insurgents turned to fight. It was a brutal battle, with many casualties on both sides. But the insurgents' determination paid off. They were able to turn the tide of the battle and claim victory. Their spirits soared as they marched onwards, ready for whatever came next. The new army began to enforce strict rules with little regard for the people's welfare. The people cried out, but their pleas fell on deaf ears. The insurgency was overthrown, and the world plunged once again into darkness. Dividing into smaller groups made them harder to track. They could escape the enemy's gaze by splitting up and taking different routes. But it made communication more difficult, and many were separated from their families and friends. They were all fighting the same battle, but were now alone. Thanks for providing the rules. Here's the response. The Anti-Corruption Agency was a vital piece in establishing a fair and just society. It helped keep the government accountable and ensured that those in power did not abuse it for their own gain. The insurgent girl's vision was truly taking shape. The result of the final attack was disastrous. The enemy was too strong, and the insurgents were outmatched. Many lives were lost, and the future looked bleak. It was a hard lesson, but the insurgent girl knew that they couldn't win by force alone. With the new investments in technology, the society was propelled forward at an incredible pace. New breakthroughs were made daily, and people's lives were vastly improved. The insurgent girl smiled, knowing that her hard work had paid off. The future looked bright, and they were ready for whatever came next. The assassination attempt failed. The insurgent girl knew they had to regroup and come up with a new plan. The stakes were higher than ever before. The fate of the world was on the line, and failure was not an option. The insurgent girl listened to her advisors' opinions and considered their advice carefully. They discussed their options and weighed the risks. Together, they came up with a plan that would increase their chances of success. The insurgent girl was ready to fight for what she believed in, with the support of her trusted advisors. The scouts returned with alarming news: the enemy was closing in. The insurgents quickly packed up their camp and fled into the night, hoping to outrun their pursuers. They knew that they needed to be one step ahead if they wanted to survive. The insurgents retreated, but they didn't give up. Instead, they studied the enemy's patterns, searching for weaknesses. They regrouped, trained harder, and developed a new strategy. When they returned to battle, they were smarter and stronger than ever before. The insurgent girl and her army successfully escaped, but regrouping was harder than anticipated. The enemy was hot on their heels, determined to track them down. The insurgent girl knew that their next move would be crucial if they wanted to defeat the enemy for good. The diversion worked like a charm, drawing away a significant portion of the enemy's forces. It gave the insurgent girl and her army just enough time to regroup and launch a counterattack. The element of surprise was on their side, and they used it to their advantage. The insurgent girl reached out to other like-minded groups, hoping to forge new alliances. Her efforts paid off, and soon they were joined by others who shared their vision of a better world. Together they were stronger than ever, ready to take on any challenge that lay ahead.
Thank you for watching. I wish you have enjoyed the story. Please don't forget to share, like and subscribe.